Hey everybody, Scott Walters. Buckle up, strap in. I got a hard-hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows, no sunshine. Just gonna give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, biggest bank in the world, at least top 4, I know that. They're laying off their loan officers in droves. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this a warning sign? Or should we sugarcoat this and just gloss over and start saying things like, maybe we should date the rate. The Fed might pivot and drop rates. No, they're not. Warning signs, heat map, temperature check, read between the lines, look between the cracks, examine the health and the fitness of the U.S. housing market. When you see Wells Fargo laying off, I mean, it's almost on a skeleton crew now of their loan originators. Mortgage loan originators are done. Just like I've always said, throw a dart at a map, and you're going to hit an issue that's now threatening the U.S. housing market. And just a year ago, it was all rainbows and sunshine and smoke and mirrors, trying to tell people this is a good time to buy. You still, isn't it odd? Do you see it out there on your social media? Agents and people in the industry still out there trying to sugarcoat it. Like, I'm embarrassed. I talk to you guys a lot all the time. Thank you for anybody that subscribes. If you're new, subscribe right away. I've had the opportunity to talk to many of you. We're helping a lot of you right now, throwing offers around to see if we can make deals stick. We're doing all that. But it's so funny. A lot of times when I get you guys on the phone, you're like, I can't believe, like, usually what I get is, oh, I didn't expect to actually talk to you. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. I'm a salesman. Let's talk. I need to get to know you, though. I need to protect you. Well, I had an experience with an agent, and they were all rainbows and sunshine, and you said you had access to top-level agents, and yeah, that's right. Listen, let's just cut to the chase. I don't even like real estate agents myself, and I am one. Like, that's how much I look at this stuff, and I'm like, my gosh, I almost want to bury my own head in the sand sometimes, because I don't want to be lumped in to that field. I respect somebody much more in the industry, and I know you will too. And like I said, when I put you together with agents, the highest rated agents in your area, not a perfect agent, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I can just get you as close as possible. And then coach the agent, basically give them, debrief them before they take care of you, and to let them know, hey, this is my person. They're smart. This is what you can expect. Go to work. And they're happy to do it. They're like, you got it, Scott, you're right. Okay, cool. Let's have some fun. But it's not my job to convince them if it's going to crash or not crash. It's my job to make sure they're high level and know how to get to properties, get offers executed, and work with you and stay with you through the duration. See, in the height of the buying euphoria, what we saw is agents they're cherry picking. Oh, I'll talk with this one, because they're ready to buy and they're pre-qualified and they're all kind. They didn't want to work. They didn't want to go to the distance. If you weren't ready to close tomorrow, they wanted to work with you. Now where are those people? Well, they're on their way out the door. If they work at Wells Fargo, I can tell you that. They're laying off their loan originators in troves. As like I think I shared recently on a video, another subscriber we helped recently. They were working with a loan originator who apparently that was during the hiring fiasco. And they got put together with some, and they're like, it was this painstaking work. And finally I called to work on my loan with this person, and the manager got on the phone and said, I'm so sorry that agent's no longer with us, but I'm really happy to inform you I'm working on your loan and we're getting it through, we're getting it done. It was, and that's what we're seeing now. Management is stepping down into the roles. And that's a bad sign, because I was upper management during the last bubble, and I remember, I saw all the lower, eventually my number got called too. I was offered a position, in a lower capacity if I wanted to keep my job. Well, we're seeing that now with Wells Fargo. Management now is originating loans. They're not managing all kinds of other originators. They're the ones now. And it will just be, it could be temporarily, they're going through the same thing. So that's what we're seeing now. But the reality is what I really wanted to communicate today. When you see Wells Fargo now laying off their loan originators, well, that's no shock to most of us here at this channel, but it's going to come to a huge shock. If you're employed there, it's going to come to a huge shock to maybe even Wells Fargo themselves. The employees they're firing or laying off have mortgages with them. They went and drank the Kool-Aid. They're laying off people that eventually they're going to end up not only losing their job, they're going to lose their house to the very company they were working for. To add insult to injury, can you imagine being that person? You're working at Wells Fargo as a loan originator. You're nervous because you're not getting, your numbers are down. You're seeing all the cubicles around you getting laid off. And you just got laid off and you bought a house in the height of the euphoria yourself, and it's going to default and go back to the bank that holds the mortgage, which more than likely or quite possibly, it's Wells Fargo. You can't think this stuff up. It's like living through an episode of the Twilight Zone. Am I the only one here that sees the issues? Luckily, I'm not. I know many of you are too. That's why we continue to do this work as we raise awareness. Ring the bell, sound the alarm, read between the lines. Look, between the economic cracks of the biggest housing market, or the biggest housing bubble ever produced in history, the biggest asset class in the world, when we lose it, we lose everything. It's a vacuum. It's a vacuum if we lose the U.S. housing market. It pulls jobs, homes, people, jobs. It all goes along for the right. And we're at the, I'm about to scare myself saying this. We're at the front end. This is the front end. I've always said, tail end of a crisis, right? Tail end of a crisis, front end of a recession that's being ushered in intentionally. This isn't an accident. This isn't an unfortunate byproduct of inflation. This is on purpose. On purpose, we're ushering it in. And we all know this thing is just getting started. Why do we know that? Because the only way historically, and there's no guarantee it works, that inflation gets controlled is to raise the federal funds rate to the rate or above the rate of the inflation. And we've just been scratching the surface to give the rich people a chance to get out, store their wealth before it just collapses. I mean, it's pretty clear, I would say at this point, that's in fact what's going on. But the realities are, in previous inflationary battles, it wasn't uncommon to see 10%, 15%, 20% mortgage, 30-year mortgage rates, with 50% down required to even obtain the more. That's when success was found. We're a long way from there as we continue to implement minimum amounts down, rate buy downs, all this insanity that's just completely delaying what actually needs to happen and what's actually inevitable. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator. Somebody wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understanding the biggest artificially created housing bubble ever produced in world history, courtesy of the perfect storm, can't sustain itself. Another red flag today is when you see Wells Fargo, one of the biggest banks in the world, laying off all their home loan mortgage originators are gone. A lot of them owned homes themselves. They're going to default on with the very company they worked for. These are scary facts of things that are now circulating out there. The first step of getting past a problem is admit there's a problem. Those are big problems. Then accept the situation. If you're in denial, you're not going to get into acceptance. Being prepared for something and having it not happen is much better than having something happen and not being prepared. It all comes down to the percentage of likelihood. You'll have to decide what percentage of likelihood you put on this. I put a very high percentage of likelihood we have some more work to do before we see this thing play out. If we're building our wealth in real estate, there's opportunities already presenting themselves. Most people are going to be stuck on the sidelines, unable to get off. They're going to be paralyzed by fear and panic. It'll be my job to continue to gear us the best of my abilities to look at properties individually, specifically, and understand if there's opportunity there or not. I'm going to do my best every step of the way because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, I think you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. I'll see you on the next video.